to see if I was able to. There we go.
Okay, here we go. Yay! I'm excited for week 2 of creating leaders. So this week we're going to jump right in to being a leader people want to follow. And I just I listen to these like when they come out, but then of course I listen to them again for this call. So I just kind of went back and refreshed and finished the worksheet and just found it so super helpful. So Amanda, do you have any like initial thoughts or takeaways? I know we didn't really like kind of talk this through, but
Well, I was kind of laughing. I told y'all in the chat the other day, I couldn't believe how much I shared last week tied into the episode this week, and I hadn't even listened to it. Like Jennifer was saying, I had listened to some of the episodes that came out, but they were out of order, and I skipped this one altogether. So I was just laughing to myself, and I was thinking, I must have been channeling my inner Brittany. Now, if I could just channel the part about her results though, because I'm like, that's where I need help with her results. But so yeah, I didn't have any like initial takeaways. Do you want me to just kind of dive in? Get us going. Okay. All right. So looking over our notes, that kind of did lead into where she started off on in the workbook was about the most important thing that people look for in the leader they'd be willing to follow is results. You have to be producing some results because you can't take someone where you haven't gone. But I love what she said about it not having to be massive results. Like if you've ever got a customer, it can be as simple as that. If you've got a customer before, then you can share with your team how to get a customer. Think about those basic activities you did, and that was a learned skill. So it doesn't have to be huge monumental results, just getting small results. And it says, keep your team inspired by showing them you will still be successful without them. And I thought that was really good advice because oftentimes when I don't like using that word stuck, but sometimes when we feel that, that's what we might think in our minds is the key to getting unstuck is getting in action, and once our team sees us getting in action, a lot of times they naturally start getting back in action themselves. And just keep in mind, y'all, with the results that we say ever since I started, we heard that this is a 60 to 90 day minimum business. So if you're like right now, you don't feel like you have the results you're wanting to see. I mean, I do ask you to check, like for the last 90 days, have you been super consistent? Because I know for myself, I can say I'm not having the results right now that I want personally. I want to see more results, but I can say, I've not been as a consistent these last 90 days. Yes, have I worked my business in some ways? Yes, but not with the consistency and dedication that I need to see the results that I want to see, in other words. So I want to just put that out there because you maybe say, well, I don't have much results right now. Well, just remember, it does take time. And so I'm not going to say, oh, this isn't working right now because I was consistent for a week or 2 weeks and I haven't got my 3 people this month and earned the gift card. Does that make sense? So I just want to mention about giving yourself time to actually see true results because y'all, I think everybody on this call has been in here long enough to know that you can look back over your Plexus journey. And when those periods and spells where you have been super consistent and showed up, you've seen that fruit from your business 90 days later. And yeah, sometimes you see that fruit sooner, maybe because you're reaping from seeds that were planted in the past. But, sometimes it does take longer. So just be encouraged to know that I do believe we reap what we sow. So when we're planting those seeds, eventually the fruit's going to come if we'll stay consistent for the harvest. All right, Jennifer, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, one of the things that when you were talking that I just thought about was a common thing that we tell ourselves, because I hear it, when like in our conversations and in coaching calls is, well, I can't share the business because I'm not XYZ rank. And literally, if like she said on the call, if you have one customer or one ambassador, if they've upgraded to VIP or whatever, you have results. And so therefore you can talk about the business or whatever it else with some authority, right? Because you did it. And it's not rocket, y'all, this business is not rocket science. It is mindset. And really, that is a mindset issue. Like, so at the root of that, we have to have some results. But that's a mindset issue for us to feel like that is what's paralyzing us from going forward. Does that make sense? Like, I can't do it because I haven't had this major big result. Well, you've got some results. So clearly you've done something right, right? And so you can share that with someone else. So I just really am super passionate about the mindset. And when you were talking about sowing the seeds, literally this morning, and it just came to my mind because I during my Bible time, I noticed in Mark, that's where I'm reading right now, and it was, oh, I wish I had the verse, but it was about the sowing the seeds, like the sower and the seed. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Let me see if I can find it, because
Mark 2.
Hey, Jennifer,
yes.
that reminded me. Can I share a thought? It reminded me of what you were just saying.
Yeah.
So Fallon, I think it was Fallon, who is maybe Brittany Howard's sponsor, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, she is.
Okay. So she was sharing on a training that people, it's actually people receive it better when someone at a non-diamond rank is sharing about the business, like somebody who's gold, senior gold, about the business or post about the business. That actually seems more doable for people than if I was a diamond, because she said people think, oh, you're a diamond, you're making a ton of money a month. I could never do that. But
Right.
You're like, oh, you're a senior gold or a gold, you're making $1,000 a month. I could totally do that. And so that encouraged me. I think I heard that when I was maybe Ruby or something. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. So that means now's the time for me to share with people about the business opportunity before I'm a diamond, not wait until after I.
Oh, where'd she go? Oh, where'd you go?
Sorry, I don't know.
You're
That's
just
all I
gone.
wanted to say.
No, that's true though. I mean, that's so true, because it feels so unrelatable in one sense of the word. And so many times we're still thinking like that person has some special sauce, or they're this or they're that at diamond, and or even emerald, sapphire, diamond. And so it's what you're saying is exactly true. Like those, like every single rank matters, and then people can find that more relatable. So I think that's really good.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback off of that. Most people when they start are not looking to be a diamond, to make diamond income. Now, while that might be our goal later, most people are just going to be thrilled to make $200 or $300 a month. I mean, I remember when I talked to Ashley Nix, we had one of our first phone calls, and I found out she was just wanting to make enough for groceries. And now y'all, like, her husband's able to stay home full-time, being full-time ministry because of her Plexus income. Like, that wasn't even her goal in the beginning, but we get so caught up thinking that we've got to be at X number of income or rank about this business when we forget what a difference $100 can make in people's lives. I forget sometimes, that's why we let those fears creep in of what people think. And Brittany touched on that, and it robs us so many times because we let the fear of man and what other people think. But y'all, there are people out there that $100 to be able to pay for their kids' sports or piano lessons would make a huge difference in that mama and that family's life. And so I feel like sometimes, like y'all were saying, we get so caught up on, I can't share about the business because I'm not here, that we forget about. And I think it might have been Brittany Howard in one of her trainings, another one that she said, like, if we'll never, and that might have been Kristen Boss, I think it was, if we'll never forget what $100 can mean to somebody, we'll never lose our passion about the business. And I was like, oh, that is so true. Yeah. That was good, Brandy. Thanks for sharing.
Well, and the second section, if you need cooperation and participation of other people in order to achieve your vision, then you're going to need their trust. And that's just, I mean, that kind of goes without saying. That's just part of being a leader. Like, you're going to have to be somebody that is trustworthy. So what do you think your team would say that you value? What is important to you? Do you think that your team would say that you're most concerned with their success or your own. And I love this line. If you've taken complete ownership, you know the only person responsible for your success is you. Because it's so easy to want to blame our team, our upline, somebody else. Like we want to shift the blame. Like that's just a human, I think that's just a human thing that we do. Like we just want to shift the blame always. I mean, good grief. I mean, how many times like with your children and stuff, right? Like something happens and he did it, she did it, wasn't me. And so we're shifting blame. And so with this business, we want to shift the blame. We want to say, oh, well, if this, if my team did this, then I would be better. Or if my upline did this, then no, you guys, it's our name is on our paycheck. And so we have to take complete ownership of that. And I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying that it's always necessarily maybe the best, or the most funnest, can I say that, thing to walk through. But I tell you this, if you have those issues, like if you have those struggles and you work through them, the mindset and the thought process behind those struggles, you're going to come out that much stronger on the other side, right? And you're going to come out that much more victorious when you work through those things rather than not. So, okay, if you've taken complete ownership, that the only person responsible for your success is you. It's going to free you up from being emotionally attached to your team's outcome. And that is so huge because what we do, because we care and because we do believe in people and we do believe in this opportunity, a lot of times we become so emotionally attached to that person's outcome and they're not emotionally attached to it. Like they could really kind of care less, or they're maybe saying one thing, but they're not doing the actions that we're telling them to do. And so we become emotionally attached. And so here we are trying to like drag them along. We're trying to strap them to our back and carry them through. And they're just not there, you guys. And so it not only does it really like do them a disservice, but it really hinders our business. But not only that, it hinders the people that could be, right? If we're so focused on dragging the people because we're so emotionally attached, think about the people in our sphere and our network that could run with this opportunity and have the exact same vision that you have, or even a bigger one, and have the motivation and the grit and the determination to do it, right? So not only are you and you're also like pulling this person, so you're really probably not working your business like you should be, so it's hindering your business. But just like I said, think about all the people that you're stalling them from starting this business because you're not working effectively because you're trying to drag people. Am I beating that horse today? And then you team up from the pressure of meeting you team up. Oh wait, it frees your team up from the pressure of meeting your expectations. And your leadership should always be about helping people get what they want, casting vision for them. What do they want? How can you support them as they work through their goals? Does anybody want to have anything to say so far about sections 1 or 2? Like chiming in on anything?
I was thinking about that question about finding out what they want. And, because I've done some coaching calls, I do those with my team, and that's a great way to find out what people want. But it doesn't even have to necessarily be a coaching call. You could even talk to them, be like, hey, I've been doing some leadership training and I just really want to know what you want out of this. What is your goal for this opportunity? Because I want to help you wherever you're at. Like, I know you could do amazing with this and I can see you at such and such, but I want to meet you where you're at. What are your personal goals? Because we don't have to overcomplicate like having this conversation with people. It could be as simple as, hey, I was doing this leadership training and I got to thinking we haven't talked about this in a while. Like, I want to hear what you really want from this. So just that was something that came to my mind about that question, just not overcomplicating, but it is so important to find out people's goals, because once you know that, also you're going to know how to better serve them and meet them in a way that's truly serving them versus maybe putting too much on them when they're not quite ready. Does that make sense? So it all works together, just knowing where they're at. Anybody else got takeaways from 1 and 2? All right, Jennifer, I'll let you do 3. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I'm just writing notes now. I thought I would just do it at the end, but I had wrote down the same thing too about just seeing where they're at and focusing on them. And I don't personally really think right now I have a lot of people that want to lead. I think I'm in that boat where it's like, as of right now, they're just purchasing and they have people underneath them. So I think it's just learning how to help them find out if that, and not just if, but how they can too. In a sense, I think that's where I'm at right now. I think I really only have one person that actually wants to do this as a leader. You know what I mean? I have a lot of people. I just don't have the leaders. So just trying to help them figure that out. So that's true of what they can do.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about next week's episode because she really dives into that part, knowing who to work with. I don't know if y'all have listened to that yet, but that really goes into that.
Mhm.
And I think too, like just being real about the situation. I wrote this quote, I typed this quote. That's one reason I was a few minutes just barely hopping on at the right time. It says, most people are not willing to face the rejection that comes along with building a business like this. That fear of rejection, that fear of what other people will think, robs people of their biggest hopes and dreams. For the people who can change their relationship with rejection, they are taking a cap off of their potential. As a leader, if you can help people navigate rejection, then you will help them unlock their potential. That was from Brittany. And it just got me thinking, though, along the lines of looking for leaders. I think we have to be realistic too. They're out there, but not everybody is going to flock to it because not everybody is going to be willing to face rejection when it just boils down to it. Some people are just not going to do it. So I think what's super encouraging about this business, though, is that it only takes you finding a handful of leaders to really go far in this. And obviously, the more leaders you can get, we talked about that last week a little bit, Jennifer did, the more unique leader legs, the more stable your business will be, like a table versus like, I feel mine's like on a whatever, what is it, the unicycle or something like that sometimes. The more stable it'll be. But hey, y'all, you can still get pretty far with what is it, on 2 wheels? Might not be as stable as a table, but that's what's encouraging to me. I mean, finding 2 or 3 people that really want this, and yes, you should always be looking for more. Like you'll hear that in the training because life happens, things happen, but you can go far just locking arms with 2 or 3 leaders, which is super encouraging to me.
Yeah. Do you want to take number 3?
I'll let you do that one because I talked a lot about that last week.
How you relate to people will impact your influence. So common challenges, and you guys, she asked, on the next page, which of these have you overcome? And I've had all of these. So
yeah, same. I wrote that down too.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm sure a lot of you have, and if you haven't, most people will probably experience all of this at some point or another. And so, rejection, comparison, someone stops ordering, a team member quits, points go backwards, you don't maintain your rank, and it takes longer than you anticipated to reach your goals. And we did touch on this last week because it's just part of it. And so how do you overcome those things? Well, we talked about it. You like go upline, you do trainings. I mean, sometimes it's good if you need to hire like a business coach or a mindset coach, whatever, like sometimes if you're at the point where you need to invest money in that, then that's okay. Investing money in trainings. I mean, I don't think you should, depends on where you are in your business and what you want out of your business, but I've put some money into coaching and things like that and classes and stuff in the past that have helped me overcome some of the mindset stuff. But books, training, like what are you consuming? Who are you listening to? And I might actually, just going back to the mindset training, I remember Sonia Dudley, it came up on my memories a few days ago that, I don't know, it was several years ago. There were 4 of us in all, including myself. Sonia Dudley she had gone through the John Maxwell Leadership Program, and she was doing like a weekend, a class on a Saturday in, I believe it was Alabama, maybe. And so 4 of us drove 4 or 5 hours to Alabama, stayed overnight, went to the mindset training class from Sonia Dudley. And so if you hear things like that available, like invest in your business, really. And because, and I know at the beginning, I mean, I don't even know if I was Ruby, maybe senior goal Ruby. I'm not even sure. I'd have to go back and dig. But anyway, the point being is it's easy for us to say, well, I don't have the money to do that, or I don't really want to know, I don't really know. But the thing is if we can see the value of the mindset stuff and shifting that, then that's only going to propel our business forward, right? That much faster or that much stronger. And we're going to have that much more foundation. So anyway, some of those things we can probably all say we've overcome more easily than others. And what may be more difficult for me may not be that difficult for you. But I think that you're definitely going to encounter all of these at some point. So, but the key is to figure it out, right? And move on and not let it paralyze you, because you're just going to be spinning your wheels, and then you're just really going to become more frustrated. And this business, you guys, it takes grit. It takes grit. So if you are still here and you, like all of you ladies on this call, you have grit. I'm telling you, you have grit. You really do. And we have to dig in and do the hard work. And like the Bible says, like set our face, and just be determined that, I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm going to dig in and I'm going to get past it. And that's really the attitude that we have to have about a lot of this stuff. And so which of these can you anticipate navigating through with your team? Well, you're probably going to navigate all these with your team if you keep on long enough, right? You're going to navigate all this. Yes, Brandy, it's all figure outable. So does anybody want to talk about anything they wrote down for these this section right here for section 3? Or any challenges or questions, or that something maybe that you're currently facing? No? Bueller?
For the anticipate the challenges, what do you anticipate with your team? I wrote all of them with the smiley face. I mean, I do anticipate all those. And then where it says, how will you do it? Navigate. I put the feel, fail method, and she had a question about that. Normalize the challenges, normalize the struggles, normalize the funk, period. You know what I'm saying? That people go through this. I put even simple things like when somebody goes to write their first post, normalize, hey, you just let you know, you might not get a lot of likes or comments. People usually in the beginning, I know they were skeptical like I was, so it's totally normal that you don't have people just loving all over and liking your first post. People by nature are skeptical. I was. So just taking little baby steps like that to normalize the struggles that we know they're going to face. Let's see. Oh, and I did write down, this is how you will do it. Like Jennifer said, build belief continually in the products, in the business, and in yourself. Then describe a situation where you apply the feel, fail method. Let's see. Okay, so for example, a customer getting no results. Yeah, I felt like that before, when I had a pastor's wife, kind of quit, not saying she wasn't getting results. And then I find out, 2 or 3 months later that she still has a whole bag of Slim, a couple bags of Slim that she never used. You know what I'm saying? But you can relate to customers quitting. But what I find is 9 times out of 10, when people say that the products don't work, you find out down the road, like we get all tore up, like, oh gosh, they're quitting their products. So are the products not working? Like, especially in the beginning, newbies can get really tore up about that. And I mean, it still bothers me, but I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, what I find out is because they were not taking the products consistently. It might not come out right then, but it comes out later when they're wanting to, or maybe when they're talking about starting back. Oh yeah, I still got that bag of Slim in my cabinet. I still got a couple bottles of Probio 5 and BioCleanse, Oh, that's just funny. But anyways, let's see. But yeah, I love the feel, found, felt method. Same thing can be used with a cost objection. That's my go-to when I get a cost objection. I felt the same way when I first started because I was a stay-at-home mom, not really having any extra income. And, we always think that, As mamas, we always can feel like we need to buy stuff for the kids, but we don't want to invest in ourselves. So see, like I've used that so many times, it just kind of comes natural. And the same thing about business taking longer to grow. I can relate that because I mean, like I haven't just soared through the ranks. I haven't maintained my rank all the time. So like I said, just being relatable with people, that's the key, I feel like, for normalizing a lot of that. Anybody else want to share? Be like, teachers, I'm gonna call on you.
Well, Brandy already covered the fourth one. And like she said, a healthy leadership is that it's all figure outable. And it is. It's all figure outable. There's rarely a new circumstance that someone is in that someone else has not already been in that same place, right? I mean, I can think like death of spouses and parents and children. Like we have all of those horrible, I mean, not horrible things in plexus. To me, that's like the worst. Bankruptcy, sick parents, parents that get ill, aging parents that you have to take care of, pregnancies, hard pregnancies, babies with, like birth defects or things like that. I mean, like literally we could go on and on about all the crazy circumstances. And there's, I mean, I can think of a lot where someone has already been down that road and proved that, we can walk through that, right? We can walk through that and come out successful on the other side. So everything is figure outable. And if you believe that, you will become more of a solution oriented person, which that's what we want. We want to be focused on possibilities and solutions rather than the negativity and the problems. So I love that part. Do you want to close out with the last one, Amanda?
Yeah, so if you want your leadership influence to continue after you've already established it, you must continually add value to yourself so that you stay inspired about possibilities and you can learn how to think and behave like a successful person. And you can always have value to add to others. Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty self-explainable. Mm-hmm. If I had anything else. This kind of goes along a little bit with what we were talking about. I wrote this down from our Sunday school class yesterday. Our Sunday school teacher was going on 13 resolutions to live by, and it was by Jonathan Edwards. So like where he wrote 13 things, he said, I'm resolved. And the definition of resolved is to determine with purpose. So he said that consistency leads to perseverance, which leads to being resolved. So resolved is determined with purpose. Consistency leads to perseverance, which leads to being resolved, determined with the purpose that you can do that. Now, what I like about this, though, is that this doesn't mean you never miss a day or you get it perfect, but you keep going and don't quit. Mm-hmm. That leads to you being resolved. It's very similar to our Christian walk. I don't get it right every day. There's days where I don't pray like I need to, or I may not read like I need to, even though I set these lofty goals and intentions. But just because I miss a day, I'm not going to quit. I'm resolved on my journey, on my path. And we kind of need to have that same resolution in our business. In other words, that we're all going to have seasons or times where we might not be as consistent, but that doesn't mean we got to quit. We can still do the minimal, the small things to move the needle forward, even though, we'll have some seasons where we are in more action than others. I mean, that's just the ebbs and flows of life. But I just thought that was really good, being resolved, because was talking about being a leader people want to follow. People want to follow somebody that's resolved.
Yeah.
And, I feel like that's one thing with Jennifer talking about. One of the points was being emotionally attached to someone's team's outcome. Like, I feel like Jennifer would genuinely be hurt now if I quit. She'd be really sad for me. You know what I'm saying? She'd be sad for me. But I feel like Jennifer's belief is so solid in Plexus right now that she's like, if I quit, that doesn't mean she's going away. She's resolved. You know what I'm saying? She's committed to this, determined with a purpose. And I feel like the more that we build belief in ourselves and our products and our business and trust the Lord with the outcomes, like we can have that same determination to see this through, even though it may take longer than what we initially expect,
And
anyways, that's all I got.
Just keeping at the forefront that this is not always about what we can see and touch. It's not always about our paycheck, and it's not always about our rank, and it's not always, it's like I mean, like, you think about, you look back in life and you think about, maybe an incident that happened and, you were at a certain place at a certain time. And then you look back and then like you were able to touch somebody else's life or be a blessing in that. It could have been like a 5-minute or a 30-minute window of time, right? Like y'all can think of things like that, I'm sure, or, place or whatever. So like this could literally be that same thing. You know what I mean? Like this, God could be using even though you're like feeling like you're floundering, there could be somebody else out there that he's going to use this to do a crazy and mighty things through, and answering prayers. And I think if we just don't lose sight of all the other people, like this is such a huge blessing and a huge ministry. And it can be for so many people, like Krista Deary. Like, what if her sponsor had not been sharing on social media about her pink drink? I mean, she was literally contemplating like suicide. Do you know what I mean? And like, there are lots more stories than that. She's just, a friend, and she's, a diamond in Plexus that talks about it. But I'm saying, like, that could be a matter of life and death for some people. It could be a matter of, bankruptcy or not bankruptcy for some people. So just keeping at the forefront of our mind that even though it's difficult for us, and even though, maybe in a season or, I'm just not seeing the results that I want, just remember, like, there is a greater purpose to all of this, right? Like, and so just keeping that at the forefront is for me has been really, really helpful. And then you can look back and like, I look back at what God's done, for so many of you, like through Plexus, there's so many of your lives, and it doesn't have to be in a monumental way. Like it can be like buying shoes for your children or putting groceries on your table. Like God used Plexus as a tool for that. And so anyway, that just keeping that at the forefront is so helpful in times of like discouragement for me.
Jennifer, if you stop the recording, I'll share a little personal example.
Okay.
That just kind